again. So because I sewed mine on the right side, I don't have to turn it in. So if I'm going to do a shell stitch, and I want the shell stitch to be on the right side, and what I'm going to do is start at what would be the right side. Right as in not left, not right as in correct. Let's see, I'm going to weave these ends in later. Let me start this. I'm going to do a row of single crochet all the way around. And when you're doing single crochet, it doesn't really go in every stitch, but because you don't want this to be too tight, you can go in every stitch. It doesn't matter if it turns out a little bit loose, because you want it to be loose enough to fit on. That's the end here. Okay, I got a bit of a long bit there. Right, so I'm just going to single crochet all the way around, and I'm going to crochet this end as I go around as well. So this is the outside, this is the right side. Although the shell's probably going to fall down, isn't it? Just going all the way around, just to sort of give it a bit of a finish. I'm just giving away some of the other ones that I made when the baby was smaller. Otherwise I could show you them. Oh, she's got a big one on, but it's covered in peanut butter. Okay, so every row is getting a single crochet. That's a bit long, I'll just snip that off. I would normally fold it back, but weave it back in, but let's just get rid of it. Little bits I want to show you as we go along, like when we come to the sleeve, so I don't really want to just finish it, but this is very boring, just an endless round of single crochets. I'm with the impression that only one person is ever going to see this video anyway. I hope it helps a little bit. Here. Okay, so here we are at the sleeve, which is sewn up. And this changes the middle bit as you go across here. It changes the middle bit, it's my yarn splitting, into a more of a circular shape. Oh, but my yarn splitting even more. See that? So now it looks more like a smooth thing. noticed on the one I've done for my older daughter, I've gone back and forth a couple of times. Well, not back and forth, I've done a couple of rounds to make it quite a noticeable border, just in single crochet. The shells are on the top that fold over like a collar, and from behind it makes it look very neat that the finishing off around the back has got 2 rows of single crochet. I don't suppose it would be that comfortable or that important on a small baby, especially one that's going to be lying on the back or sitting or leaning or something. Come on, yarn. I like the fabric that this stitch gives, though. It's nice for making lightweight things for little ones. So back to the first sleeve. I started and my yarn is splitting again. So now I'll do another. Yeah, splitting yarn. So I'll just slip into this stitch here, and that's the round completed. So you can see that it's got a little bit more shape now. Of course, you might want to block it if you're using a natural fibre. Since this is just acrylic, I'm not really going to bother. And from the back, that's going to be the bit that goes around the body, so that you've got a nice little edge there. Now I'm just going to do some shells on the top because they're quite nice when they sort of fold over or when they stick up. I'm actually doing them so that they're they are the same way, so that the right side is here, although if they fold down like a collar, you will see the back of them. Okay, so what I would do, if you expect the collar to stand up a little bit more, it depends on the fabric, but there's one that I did in my projects which has got on Ravelry, which is sort of a marl, like a purple and pink marl, and that collar stands up quite a bit. So if I was using, it's a cotton blend, so if I was using that, I would probably continue along here and have the collar stand up so that the right side of the shells would be showing. What the other thing you could do is turn around and do your shells the other way, because what that means is that they'll look like they're on the inside, but when the shrug is put on, they'll fold back down and they'll be on the right side out then. I hope that makes sense. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to go back and work the stitches. I've just worked around this way, right, and come back here, and now I'm going to go back the other way doing the shells. And again, because I haven't been counting my stitches, I kind of just got to fudge it. I'm actually going to do this with a half shell. So I've chained 3. That's going to represent a double crochet. So I'll put 3 in there, and I'm going to skip 2. Actually, no, because I'm not doing a round. Sorry, that was silly. I'm not going to go all the way around. I have gone all the way around in the past. So I'm not going to chain at all. This isn't really much help, is it? 1, 2, 3. Now, because you don't want it to be as tight as something that's straight, instead of skipping 2 chains, skipping 2 stitches in between the single crochets and the shells, I'm only going to do 1. So I'm going to skip that 1 stitch right there, skipping that 1, and single crochet in there. It's one of my ends I should be weaving in. So I'm going to skip 1 and do 5 double crochets, nearly double crochets. Imagine you'll be fast forwarding through this bit, but since every time I stop the camera it starts a new video, I'm just going to keep going. Maybe I'll learn how to use this camera one day. So skipping 1 stitch, single crochet into there, skipping 1 stitch, shell. Whoops. If you manage to get a couple of hours to sit down, you should be able to finish this relatively quickly. So skipping 1 stitch and doing a shell. Skipping 1 stitch and doing a single crochet. Skipping 1 stitch and doing a shell. It's kind of hard to figure out actually how tight you want it. If you find that it's falling off the shoulders, or you think this bit is going to be too loose, because this has to be tight enough to fit over the shoulders, then by all means leave two stitches